The comfortable high heel. Is it a myth? Is it a legend? I don't think it is. Let's talk about why. Hello, and the warmest of welcomes to today's video. For those of you who haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Nick, glad to have you here. Those who have seen my face before, thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you enjoy my videos. I put out videos roughly 3 times a week on a range of different topics, anywhere from fashion, slightly more personal topics. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then please do head down, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I love chatting with you all. I'm all about living life loud, and what that means to me is being your authentic self, being proud to be you, and just celebrating who you are. Celebrating yourself and celebrating others. So, what are we talking about when it comes to high heels? I get asked a lot about heels because I wear them quite a lot. I wear them out and about. You know, there are times where I can't be bothered to wear them. You know, I was at an engagement party recently. I wore them for part of the night. We were walking home and I just took them off. Was it because I was painfully uncomfortable? No, but it was because I was getting a bit annoyed of having to watch where I was putting my feet and things. I thought, oh, stuff this. So I just took them off and I walked barefoot to the way home. So, you know, I have my limits. But on the whole, I love a good high heel, and I'm a big fan of the tall high heel. So I'm just going to talk you through what I think the best ways to wear a high heel comfortably are. And I'm not going to be giving you hacks in terms of put your foot in it and hair dry your foot whilst in it, buy these pads, no, let's get the shoe right. Okay, let's not worry about everything else around it. Let's get the shoe right, and then we should be in good stead, okay? Then if you want to put the pads, etc. in there, by all means go on and do so. But if the shoe is horribly uncomfortable, that's never going to fix it. So just get the shoe right first time, okay? So these are some of my top tips, and I have examples from my collection. Let's go with the first one, okay? Thickness of the heel. The thicker the heel, the more stable the shoe is going to be, the less wobble there's going to be in the ankle, the more comfortable you're going to feel, okay? Regardless of the height of the shoe, a 85mm stiletto is much more difficult to walk on than an 100mm block heel, okay? The stability is just different. So I would always recommend, if you're newer to heels or you are someone who finds them incredibly uncomfortable, give yourself more surface area. Even if you want to wear a slightly taller shoe, give yourself more surface area. That's why a wedge is traditionally considered more comfortable, because it has more surface area on the base of the foot. You're not wobbling on a needle, essentially. So for example, these two shoes, okay? Yes, there's a difference in height. Technically, this one feels higher. This is a thinner heel than this one. Yes, the shoe is taller, but this is actually a more stable shoe to walk in than the green, because the green comes down to a much thinner point. I prefer to walk in the green myself because I like my foot to be flat on the floor. However, that's a personal preference. This is a less stable walk than this is, as an example, and it's all because of the thickness. This could be an even thicker heel, this could be a block, this could be a wedge, and it would be a much more stable walk. You will feel more comfortable instantly. So that would be number one. Number two, and I'm going to keep this as an example, drop the heel height. For a similar reason, okay? I don't own anything less than 100mm, so I can't show you that, unfortunately. But here we have 120s versus 100s, okay? So this is a much less comfortable walk than the 100. They might not look all that different, but boy, do you feel it on your foot. And the reason that you feel it is because, as you can see, excuse me, they are a tad dirty, but as you can see, the slope that your foot has to arch, the slope there is much more severe for an 120mm than it is for an 100. So you feel the pull on that base of your foot, and it can be a little bit more uncomfortable. Also, it places additional pressure because your foot is slightly more vertical, places more pressure on the ball of your foot. So if you aren't buying a shoe that is well padded on the bottom here or has a comfortable sole, you're going to struggle because you are placing that additional pressure from the slope of your foot. So these are instantly a more comfortable shoe than this. I have worn these much more than I've worn these, only because I've owned these for much longer. I've owned these for circa 4 years. They look like they've been through it, because they have, but they are just an infinitely more comfortable shoe to wear. These I wear because they are glamorous and they are sexy. I wore them on a hen do. I wanted to cut my foot off. It was so painful. I wore them from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Horrible, horrible. But we do it for the look, okay? These would have still not been, my foot would have still been very sore by the end of the night. It wouldn't have been as sore though. So drop the heel, you'll instantly feel better. Now we've spoken about stability, and the next category will aid with stability. And there's a particular preference that I have when it comes to these shoes and stability. And that is buy a shoe that fastens to the foot. There is nothing worse than feeling like your foot is about to fall out of the shoe. So as an example, these are the same height, okay? Exactly the same height. These are both OnlyMaker shoes, same height, but these are so much easier to walk in and so much more comfortable to walk in because I don't constantly feel like my foot is going to fall out of them. I'm very conscious of that in these, so therefore it impacts the way that I'm able to stride. It impacts the confidence that I have when I'm walking, because I'm worried that if my foot slips forward, I'm going forward with it. These, I don't have that same worry. I go heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, no issues. I still walk heel toe in these, but my confidence is reduced. And therefore I think the less confidence you have, the more likely you are to trip yourself up, because you're second guessing yourself. You're second guessing your ability to walk. I have not really worn these out and about, but I have worn these out and about, a fair few times actually. They're looking pretty good considering how much I've worn them, and I absolutely adore them. So much so that I then went the next step further and I picked up the mock croc kind of knee-high boots, and I absolutely love them. They are so gorgeous. I've worn them out once. I'm looking for that opportunity to wear them. We're coming into winter, so I think as long as it's not icy or snowy, then I should be okay to wear these somewhere. Obviously these on ice would be an absolute disaster. Please never wear heels if you're uncertain of the conditions. Please, please, please be careful. But I absolutely love these. They fasten to the foot, they have flex in them, and therefore you can walk in them with great confidence. And it means that you don't do the teeter-totter, the kind of very small steps where you're clearly uncomfortable in your shoes. You should be able to walk like you would walk normally. Just walk heel toe, and be a little bit more conscious. Don't teeter-totter. That means your heels are too high. It means you're looking uncomfortable, and therefore the look is gone. The whole point of heels is to make you feel your best. So if you're kind of very small steps and looking uncomfortable, you're not hitting the mark. But a shoe that fastens is a great thing. I don't personally go for the skinny ankle straps, the kind of Mary Jane styles. I don't really know what that's going to do. If I'm going to fall forward, I'm falling forward, and I'd rather be wearing the boots. So I personally find a boot much more comfortable. However, I do adore the look of an open foot stiletto. I think it's a great thing. And speaking of open, my most comfortable pair of heels. I wear these a lot, and there is a reason why I wear these a lot. It is these. They are looking a little rough. You can see that I wear them. They have a feather stuck to the bottom of them, and God knows what else. But anyway, why are these so comfortable? They are slightly lower than the green because they're 115mm, not 120. They have this plexi, which molds to your foot, which adds a little bit of comfort, but also that adds some stability because that sticks to your foot so your foot doesn't slip. Also, cutouts. Cutouts are a fantastic thing. They really aid the comfort of your foot because your foot is less restricted. Your foot has more movement, but not in the sense that it will slip. It just has more movement. And I would personally recommend a cutout where you have a material like plexi that allows your foot to somewhat stick to it. So you've still got a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of movement, gets a bit of air to the foot, but your foot doesn't feel like it's slipping and sliding all over the place. I love these. I wear these a lot. These are ASOS Design. Love the silver. They're very sexy. They're very beautiful. I've worn them casually, more formally. Absolutely stunning. They are my most comfortable pair of heels. And I own 10, 12 pairs. So These really fit the bill. I wasn't sure if these were going to be comfortable at first. I didn't think they would be because this dug a little bit here. That has softened. I adore them. Love, 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 love. But they really do look like they've been through it. Anyway, love. And finally, something that I think is incredibly important when it comes to picking the right pair of heels, material. You have to be so conscious of the material that you're buying, and beware of where I've seen on videos before people say, buy a material that can stretch. I disagree. The reason that I disagree is buy a material that potentially molds to the foot but doesn't expand beyond. So let me take these as an example. When I bought these weren't the right size. The more I wore them, the more that my foot moved in them, the more they stretched. They are now really big and my foot quite often falls out of them if I'm wearing them or if I'm very confidently striding in them. Therefore, I should have bought them either in a slightly smaller size to reduce that stretch, or I should have bought them in a material that wasn't going to have so much give. A material I would never, ever recommend a novice high heel wearer to buy: lace. No, no, no. No. Maybe if it's a boot and it fastens in some capacity, but the movement in lace, your foot will be going all over the shop and it is difficult to walk in. I wouldn't wear a pair of lace high heels. There was a pair that came up from Nicholas Kirkwood in my size at Designer Exchange. I thought they were beautiful. I was tempted and I thought, nope, nope, nope. They are too high. They're 120 millimeter. They're lace. Those will be a disaster to walk in. They'll be so uncomfortable and your foot will just be clinging to the end of the shoe. I think that's a really important thing. There will be other individuals who will speak about other things. People might talk about the toe box and how it's better to go for a square toe or an almond toe opposed to a pointed toe. I'm a fan of the pointed toe, and I think if you buy the right shoe, you buy it in the right size, you buy it in the right material, you can get away with a pointed toe box, because I just think it's the most glamorous. And to be honest, I'm wearing a high heel because I want to feel glamorous, so I don't want to compromise on that. But material is really important, so I would recommend buying a material that is sturdy, that has enough give to not be constantly pinching your feet, because you don't want to end up with your foot feeling dead at the end of the night, but you certainly don't want it to be so large that it slips and slides. And that's why I quite like materials like this, because I've worn this so much, but it's still maintained its structure. And I think that's partly because it's got these, it's quite ridged here, which I think is the structure, and then this is what's got the flex, but ultimately you've still got the structure that sits around it. Also, if you are going for a slightly softer material, go for a boot, fasten it to your foot, and then prevent that need to slip, and also that need for your toes to be clinging for dear life at the end of the shoe. So give yourself that space, give yourself that ability. Think about the 5 tips that I've given you here today. Trust me, I've got it wrong over the years. I have pairs of shoes that are absolutely horrible to wear, and I just don't touch them because they are unbearable and I don't think the look is worth it for them. But however, I am prepared to wear tooled heels. I'm prepared to wear them for an evening. I'm prepared to grin and bear it for the look if I followed my rules. So that's what I think. Like I said, you will watch many a video on this where different individuals will tell you different things. Different individuals will also give you tips and tricks of how to make the shoe more comfortable once you buy it. I believe buy the right shoe first time and you shouldn't have to worry too much. So there we have it, everyone. Thank you so much as always for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care. Bye now. Mwah.